Alright, let's get going. Keith, Blazing, Steve, Oscar, Jim. Oh, that's right, that's why I was on the phone, because I wanted to let Jason know. Mr. Unofficial Mac. Where are you, Jason? Okay. Streaming. Since this is his computer. Hey, Pedro. Hey, Gingy Sippin. Givo. Okay, so this is a 2141, which is typically a A2141. I don't know the exact fault of this, but I've been warned that it is full of bugs. They're hopefully dead as far as I'm aware, but it may just be a little bit on the ugly side. Now, being a 2141 with an A2141, if it has got that, or in fact any other boards that go into this chassis, it's probably going to be dead with no data, but we'll see what we can do. We may have a win. Hey, Richard Head Gaming. Yeah. Oh, sweet mercy. Yeah, it's a little bit dead antis. Dead ant. Dead ant. Dead ant. Dead ant. Dead ant. Dead ant. Dead ants. Everywhere. And yeah, it's a 1700. So what we're going to hope is that we have a fault elsewhere on the board and not up here or down here, or sure, rather down here, because these will be where the regulators are for the NAND chips. And very often that is what gets attacked and it kills the data. So I guess the best thing for us to do is to disassemble this thing, and yeah, then we can clear out the ants. I'll actually probably take that outside and vacuum it. You know what, maybe I'll just consume them now. I'll just go get the handheld vacuum cleaner. Hey, I just gotta go get the handheld Dyson.
Oh, right, it's next to the couch.
Okay, thanks. Is he in trouble?
You've been sooking.
Yeah, he's always sooking. Killed me. Hey, Jason. Yeah. Yeah, we need maximum performance here. Unlimited power. Yeah, need a two-handed job here. Right. Alita's not going to be too impressed about the fact that she's got a whole bunch of strange ants in her Dyson now. Yeah, what is on the bottom of my... Oops. Sorry. Just being distracted by other things happening over here. Oh dear. Where's my glasses? No, they're there. Alrighty. Yeah, I can still see there's some more hanging around, but nothing too bad. certainly back into the realm of acceptable. Well, not much you can do with this, but just start undoing it. I probably should have taken the battery off first, but that's okay. There's probably going to be a few people who lose their head over the fact that I used a non-static protected or electrostatic discharge protected vacuum cleaner because it will generate a whole heap of static electricity and it could destroy the computer. It doesn't really work that way. These computers have very solid, effective grounding planes and protection on the inputs. It's extremely difficult to destroy these boards once they're assembled from static. Mac Pro trash can full of scorpions. I think I can pass on that one. I don't really have a phobia of scorpions. I think the interesting about scorpions, particularly in Australia, is that they're quite a bit smaller than what most people are anticipating. Most scorpions in Australia, they're around about an inch or two in size, whereas the movies tend to portray them as being 4 to 6 inches sometimes. Anyway, I'm sure Jason wouldn't really send scorpions, he was just being humorous. Jim, glad to hear that you've had a couple of good days. I guess it's just sad though that the good days tend to be of lesser number than the not so good, which is unfortunate. Hey Christian. I had a fun one yesterday. I had fixed up a computer and it had been sitting on my my out queue for quite some time, waiting for the paperwork and financial stuff to be done. And then when I gave it the exit test, that is where you turn it on, make sure it's still running as expected, it didn't come up anymore. This is a 820.00850 board. And the original problem was a relatively simple short circuit on one of the main rails, and fixed that up, and no dramas. And so I tried to power this thing up, and it was dead as a doornail. 0 milliamps on everything. It would occasionally get 20 volts, but always 0 milliamps. So I thought, oh great, I got another shorted cap somewhere. Turns out it was actually the PMU that died, and took out a few things, which was annoying because if you know the 850 boards and similar, that the PMU is somewhat like a small iPhone CPU. It's certainly not the sort of thing you want to just casually replace. Needless to say, I was fortunate. I did have some donor boards that had the same PMU on it and was able to swap it over, fix up the damage. There was a few balls under the PMU that got wrecked, and subsequently also did a bit of damage to the circuit board, but managed to get a booting machine again, so I was happy. But I hate it when a machine fails on the exit test, particularly because you've told the customer, okay, everything's ready to go, you've got the money, packaging time, and then you have to email them back and say, well, you know what, it's now dead. And they're like, wow, what are we paying you for? Funnily enough, they're paying me for the fact that I will do those exit tests rather than just going, well, it's on the out queue, so we'll just ship it without testing it. I always forget the microphone cable on these. Let's see. Oh, this one here. I think that's the microphone one. But yeah, there's so many flexes on these. It's extremely frustrating. This is definitely the pinnacle of their frustrating design. Uses up a lot of time to get it out. And then I always use pieces of tape now to hold down this flex, and this flex when installing it. There's just no other way for me to simply reinstall it without snaring these. In fact, I've got a machine coming where someone has reassembled it and they ended up shearing off the cables, so it's going to be fun. Hey Teresa, yeah, I saw you were having iMac issues there. What's going on with that? Still ain't macking. Ah dear. Hey Mr. Anonymous. Alright, at this point I give it a gentle lift and hope that it comes out. But yeah, usually at this point it's when you work out, as Jason was saying, you've forgotten to take that cable out. What also is a pain on the 1700 board is that you kind of have to push the board back to make the fins clear the fan. So it was like this last big hurrah for the Intel Mac designers. And they said, let's make this as bad as possible. Hey Toby. Okay, I can immediately see corrosion down here, which is actually a good thing. Good thing it's there and not there, but there is a bit of junk there. And we'll have a check over here. I'm just going to brush off the dust. Hey, what goes? Should have switched over. Let's have a look at the... Oh, yeah, it's actually pretty unusual to get that corrosion there. Pretty unusual. Let's see. Okay, so this is where there's probably a problem. Now I'm hoping that hasn't... Yeah, we cleaned that up, but it's always a danger zone, that one. This side also has a cap that may be shorted. There, that particular regulator there looks okay. Yeah. With these boards, it really is very rare for me to have anything other than shorts here, shorts on the regulator, or yeah, we don't see many come in with other faults. 3.1, yeah, Jason, I'm going to be straight up and say that it's that 3.1 is typically a NAND failure, 6 to 3 or 6 or lower, but we'll give it a go. We'll give it a go. You never know. Could be lucky. Usually that should be 600. And that's bad news all around. It could be related to this. So I'll clean up that, see if those values jump up. But unfortunately, like I said, being a 2141, this is sadly such a common fail, such a common death. Leon, good evening. Hey, Chris Stevens, welcome. So the problem there is that sort of started to eat into the board. So it's not too bad this one, but usually we'll get carbonization through the fiberglass layers. And on things like the 1041 boards, they're notorious, and the 1814, I think, they're notorious. There's a cap that relative positioning. There's a cap that usually sits around about here, and it often gets corroded, but the trouble is it doesn't die. Instead, what it does, it just starts eating, and burning its way through. And as it does that, you get little tunnels of conductive carbon building up. Once that happens and it finally gets to the death point, you basically can't recover it. Yeah, I'm just going to check the output. Okay, so that's a more normal output. You basically want 400 plus ohms typically. Okay, so that's good. We've got 400 there. So we may get lucky here. That's a good sign there. I wasn't expecting it. I'll have to go and see what that capacitor was. One here. Okay, so that was PP bus G3 hot. So we may have gotten lucky in that the PP bus G3 hot failure by the corrosion there has actually inadvertently saved the entire board. Because certainly this damage here, that's a short distance away from killing the board. In fact, it's the point where I will replace this controller and I'll replace this cap at the very least along with these, just to be sure. Because I don't know what damage has happened underneath there. I don't know if there's any corrosion under there, just waiting for me to be a bit complacent or not. Hey, B-Blood. Certainly, I don't think there's been any other board design that has such a colossal failure rate in this way. To be fair, it's not the board specifically at fault, it's the combination of the board and the way the air intakes were done. If the air intakes were shifted like another 20 millimeters further up or down, we probably wouldn't have this issue. But we do. Yeah, I know I'm up there. It's all good. It's all good. I think what I'll do is I'll put those small parts back on before I put the controller back on. Yeah, Jason, I usually also cover it up. I gotta admit, I use hot glue. I kind of like the large, chunky protection it provides. But yeah, I think definitely if you manage to survive this, then putting protection there is an absolute must. Obviously, I would prefer to use something more official, like a translucent, neutral silicon or something like that. Kind of the stuff they use for the corner, what do you call it? The corner stability on SMCs and things like that. But I think, yeah, you can't go wrong too hard with pretty much going with anything at all, anything to protect it. Edge bonding, thank you, Pedro. You're actually useful for once. Alright, here we go. We need 100 Ks for that top one. Eric Denya. Let's see, 100 ohms? No, that's 2 magnitudes too small. Actually, 3 magnitudes. Oh, Eric, life is life, which means it's always got something to throw at you. The reason why I prefer to put the small discrete parts on first is simply because, yeah, if you have a fluff up and bump something, then it's only going to be other discretes, whereas otherwise if you bump the BGA, then yeah, you got all the BGA rework to do again. What are you? You're a... oh man, 2200 picofarad, 25 volts. Great, great, great. You're an oddity. And at 22, oh jeez. So we've got 2200 picofarad cap there, and then we've got a 221K resistor there. God, I hate these very custom, specific resistors and caps. Let's see, 221K. I'll have a look at that one, Jason. So no surprise the 1041 has it, nor obviously the 1700. Yeah, interesting, the iPhone has it. That's really weird. iPhone 4. Okay, 850 has it. 1598 has it. Oh, I've got a 1598, but I have a horrible feeling I've actually already pulled it from that one. 820W. Well, let us hope that I haven't taken it from the 1598. Ah, gee. Oh wow, it's not even God damn, that is a pain in the backside. Oh, I might have to see if I can recover that 221. This is why I keep the parts that I take off. Of course, Jason, the question is, they have probably changed that formula a few times over, since there are times where it's very pleasant to take off and there are times where it's not pleasant to take off. Oh, bravo, keyboard, bravo. What an entrance. Marvellous. Oh. Well, it makes sense that when you use hot air blowing on something, it's going to get blown away. Not you. Ooh, lucky. Certainly, I think buying some 221s might be on my list of things to do. Stick it with the rest of the gear that I have to buy. So one of these is a 221 and the other is not. Does Flexboard View have the ability to edit board views? No. Not really, no. You should be able to modify the board view to add in the PR3 USB, right. Yeah, I know that particular situation you're talking about. You can actually add it in just by typing in the coordinates and things like that, or generating it. It might be easier if you do it as a BVR file, because at least that, if you look at the BVR3 file format, it's a little more inviting. Unlike this damn resistor. You know what? I'm going to have to just solder this resistor to the board on one terminal and hope that, yeah, when I measure it, I'll see whether it's the one I want, and if it's not, I'll take it off. What the hell did you fall off for? There was nothing pushing you off. Honestly. Admin media. What I can do for you, Miles, is I can send me an email and put your YouTube name in it so that I can, you know, on the subject, so I can actually know who you are, and I can generate a BVR3 version of that particular board for you, and from there you may be able to do what you want to do. That's it. You are really pissing me off. I don't know why that wood board keeps coming off, because there's it just must rattle off while I'm not looking. Hey Harold, welcome. Alright, so we want to see if we get 221 or whether we've got the other one. And it looks like we found the 100k resistor. How normal. So we should have a resistor down here somewhere. There we go. Now I'm hoping the capacitor we have better luck with. That 221 resistor just, I'm struggling with it because it doesn't look that healthy. Like I said, I do not have any, that's looking better, but I just kind of ripped out the pad a bit there. 1700 boards, even though so many failures have come across my desk, I haven't actually managed to obtain a donor. Shit. Alright, so it's 221. You may think it's a bit silly that I bothered to test that before I turn it around, but when it comes to these boards and you're dealing with the NAND VREG, you want to be downright absolutely 100% sure of what you're putting down there before you activate it. Will there be CNC? Not likely. I did get some more bits and pieces for it, but I still haven't actually even spun up the spindle yet. I basically haven't been able to do anything. I'm just too busy. Let's see. Okay, so now I've got to find a 2200 picofarad. And this one may be somewhat important, so I want to be making sure I get it close. So 2200 picofarad, also 2.2 nanofarad. We'll see what we can come up with. Oh, that's right, we've got to do 25 volts. So here we go. Okay, 244's got it, that's useful, except I don't have any 244s. I've got plenty of 0045s. So I can only hope that a 0045 will pop up in this search. Excuse me. Oh, lo and behold, another freaking 1598 comes up. Harold, I don't really know in terms of compatibility between battery flexes. I would imagine things like the 1502 and 1398 type series should be relatively compatible between the years. 163, 426. I actually do have 426s. Well, we got lucky here. Even though it's picked up the 201 there, it is actually a 201 anyway. Alright, let's dig out a 426. I know I should have at least one of them. Ow. apparently circuit boards are a little bit spiky and can hurt you if you touch them wrong. Dead CPU. 3332. Can't read the number because I'm too blind. 3332. 3787. 3662. 3787. Lo and behold. 3662. Come on. What are you? Don't know. Can't read it. Jeez. So I know I have got a there we go, 426. Now, I know I definitely bought one because it was like, well, you're not in my list of boards that I have, so I better get one. Okay, so it should be around here somewhere. I think it's that one there. Oh, you can't see. So, yeah, we're just up from the U8700, C8770, U87, so yeah, it's that one there. If this was a general decoupling cap, I probably wouldn't have worried so much, but this cap does have a more specific purpose. So we do need to match it up properly. Usually you can tell that a cap has a more specific purpose simply by the fact that it's the only one on a line. Alright, we've also got to put this one back, and I always forget what they are. Oh yeah, that's right, these are the annoying ones that I can't get. They're the 20 microfarad 402s 10 volt, and I just can't get them. I can get the 10s, and that's about all I can populate it with. Fortunately, it's one of, how many are there? It's a very small part of the overall decoupling for the board for this rail, so putting a 10 microfarad in there is going to be okay. It would be preferable to put 20 in there. But trying to source a 402 20 microfarad 10 volt chip cap, good luck with that. Feel free to send me a link to a source of them if you have one. Other than a donor board, of course. That doesn't make sense. That should be a 402. Yeah, it's a 402. Idiot. Even still. I was going to say, 10 microfarad and 201. Even that's a pushing it for Apple. Let's see. I'm guessing I have actually run out of those. Yep. I've run out of those. I've got more on order, but I've run out of them. So I'm gonna have to look around. I think I can get 15 microfarad off, but I think they're only 6.3 volt. The trick here is the 10 volt rating. So I'm just gonna find an iPhone 6. Yeah, so these are all 6.3. There should be some 15 microfarad, yeah, but again, so that was getting close, but it's 6.3 volt rated, so that's no good for what we're doing. We need 10 volt. Pedro, stop harassing the audience. They don't appreciate you doing that to them. So what I'm going to do is I'll just do 10 microfarad, 10 volt, 402. And so it's not 20 microfarad because I know I don't have any donor boards that have that, but at least this should give me a supply of 10 microfarad ones. And it seems like every board on the planet has them at least. Let's see if we can find our favorite board, being the 165 or a 3437. Yay, 165. Oh, of course, that's right. I remember that now. Yes. It's cap that sits by the SMC for decoupling the SMC. This one here. So like I say, it's not the most ideal replacement. It is technically half the capacitance that we need. But push come shove, it will do the trick. Given that it only represents a small fraction of the overall decoupling on that rail. And I gotta switch stream, camera. You can see that the pads were made for a larger cap. Even though these are 402, you can sort of, it's the measurement value 402, 603, 201, all that sort of stuff. They are technically well specified, but there's a lot of wiggle room. So you'll often find that one 402 cap is bigger than the other, likewise with all the ranges. So yeah, wiggle room. Hey Wes. Okay, so now we need yet another TPS 62 to 180. Looks like I'm having to break into my new stash. Okay, bottom right. I did have someone leave a comment the other day, or I think it was today to be honest, and they were saying that, oh no, it was last night, and they said, I think it was, your subscribers do not match your content, and I'm like, that could actually be taken two ways. I'm going to assume you mean I have less than what they were anticipating. But realistically, I think my subscribers are about on the mark for what I do, because I don't put a lot of effort into content development, as in I don't edit, I don't do fancy things. Yeah, I live stream and that's about it. And I'm content with that. And if at some time I do manage to find the energy to start editing videos, then, great. But in the meantime, I sort of am accepting that the entertainment value versus the time, as in how long my videos go for, the current subscriber rate is about right. Yeah, I don't have a lot of high intensity, high attraction short videos. Well, here goes the gamble, really. Let's see if we get 20 volts. Damn it, now one of these are damaged and the other is okay. I was foolish enough that, yeah, it's one of these two. Fairly sure this is the damaged one. I had it attached to the board while I was soldering, and it subsequently internally delaminated or something. I was using the hot air. Not enough ransom flux. Hello, Hamimo. For entertainment should narrate ebooks. Probably not my thing. Nope, no, straight to a reset there. 20 volts, 60, 180, 42, 250. No, you're staying at 250, aren't you? Oh no, there you go, 400. Ooh, maybe it is alive. A signature behavior of this, if the NANDs are failed, is it will get to 20 volts all okay, but then it will go to about 250 milliamp, and then after about 30 seconds it restarts, goes back to 0, and then goes back up to 250 again. And that's basically, as far as I can tell, the system simply going, well, we tried to boot, but we didn't have a disk to boot from, so we'll try again. And then when you connect it to configurator 2 and you try to revive it, the revive goes okay, but then it says general error. I don't mean the revive goes okay, I mean like it looks like it's installing the system okay, but then when it tries to actually get things rolling, it comes up for general error. Did you catch, Jason, about parts that I didn't? Not yet. I will just put this tape on and then I'll go looking for that question. So this is how I can make the reassembly or the reinstalling of the 1700 logic board mildly tolerable. You stick those 3 down. God, so much fluff. Fluffier than some of my cats. Helps if Paul installs the board the right way up. By the way, that's not real Captain tape, but it does the job for the moment for this particular task. I would not use this particular Captain tape, as it were, for anything requiring defense against heat, because it just melts like normal plastic tape. So many frustrating flexes. Ta-da! Alright, let's have a look at Jason's question. When you're looking for component on many boards, how do you bring that up? I can't seem to search all the boards in my folder once. You... The first thing you need to do is, if you go into Program Preferences, and I can't even remember now where... oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, folder path for PDF. So you select what path the top of your tree of PDF files is, and then that should then come up when you do the find a part thing. And if you want to change it, once off. The depth search may actually be another thing. If you've got that set to 1 or 0, maybe it's not diving down. We're still going stop search. I can't think of much else that would be inhibiting you. It should just go like that. So I'm not sure why it wouldn't be. Agreeably, I haven't tried it on a Mac for a while, so maybe I've got a problem with the... I'm trying to think now. Maybe there's a problem with the spanning search algorithm. I have to actually find the files to look in. Fingers crossed this actually comes up. Helps if you plug the screen in. I had fun with that one today. I was sitting here wondering why on earth machine wasn't coming up properly, and then I realised, yeah, I didn't plug the screen in. It's not so blatantly obvious on these types of machines whether you have it plugged in or not, because it can just sit relatively flat to that connector but not actually be connected. Now I'm sure I could leave a fair few of these off, but I do like to get a decent number connected. Privacy filter, just in case. Yeah, I'm getting hopeful here. Wishful thinking that it's going to come up. Okay, plugged in, 20 volts. See if we actually get any fan spins. 200, 300, 1700, 200. Nah, it just did a reset. God damn it. Mind you, it's holding steady at 0, so maybe it wants the battery to give it a boost. The success rate with this particular board is well below 10%. So if you get anything remotely resembling corrosion near one of those, just one of those regulators, then it's almost always dead. It's to the point where I tell most of the business clients that send in things, I just say, open up the back, have a look at the back, and here we go, we've got a fan spin. Have a look at the back. If you see corrosion on these spots, then most likely it's going to be a no success. Oh great, it's got Bitcoin codes, and now I'll take 10% of that. Come on. Your fun spun, for God's sake. You're saying your battery's too flat? Oh, definitely fan spins. Hey, that's good. That just means it's a bit flat, so we'll give it a couple of minutes and see if it comes up. Damn it, Jason, why'd you have to say you're joking? That would have been much better if there was like $1 million worth of Bitcoin on there. I've got a moving wife out there. Hello? What's going on out there? Sprinkler. Keeping the grass green. Just giving it another couple of minutes. I could really do with the Jason Vilma in here just now. Sorry, Jason. Kicking out one Jason to hope for another Jason. But I've got an iPhone 12 that really has some issues that I need to deal with. And, oh, that's right, I got an iPhone. Ooh, I've got an iPhone 7 Plus here that I need to fix up. But I think I'll do that off video. No offense to everybody, but doing the iPhone 7 Plus with the audio IC, it's still something I prefer to do in the privacy of my own mind. Have I done micro tonight? It's not yet. It's about 7 minutes away from needing doing. In fact, I may actually take that as my opportunity to depart, but I just want to see this come up first. So everyone can just ask questions while I'm here. Not that it ever stopped you before. Have you got a ninja bullet? Put it in that. Yeah. Have a does it blend stream. Leave on stream. No, just the knowing that there's people watching is enough to deter me. I always record my work, but that's more for internal purposes. Let's see if some other things. You're a very dead machine, you are. You need to be reassembled and sent back to whence you came. Oh, that's right, I was going to quickly check my gaming unit. That's what I did want to do. Alright, the gaming unit I will check. Because it's barely 2 months old, maybe 3. And it has not had that much use. And I thought I was going insane, but yeah, it just starts. This controller here, it just drifts as if I'm holding it up. And I recalibrated it, and it still kept doing it, so it was very frustrating. So what do you got? Philip said. I'm actually surprised. There doesn't seem to be a lot of available options for a PC gaming PlayStation style, DualShock controller. At least not ones that have a reasonable chance of being okay. Okay, what's going on there? Ultimately, I think it's just crappy part selection, but I'm kind of curious to see what that part selection is. Oh man, what have I got, a screw in here? No. Just the sound of some kinds of plastic cracking is it's a little bit brings back the old PTSD. Alright, so yeah, you look like standard kind of pots. PS5 controller, does it work on PCs? Ah man, I mangled those latches. Oh well, no biggie. In fact, I mangled a lot of them. Good thing it's mine. Okay, so we've got normal tactile buttons on the side. And we've got... yeah. Different screws. Well, if the PS5 ones work with PC, then sure, I'll be interested in that. Okay, so that's an interesting daughterboard design. Subframe assembly. Looks like I can actually take the whole thing out. Okay, your standard. Standard. I was going to say, I didn't think I need to have to take... Oh no, there was trick buttons there. I might actually consider changing these springs for the lower left rights, because they are a considerable pain in the on the hand at the moment. Look, I notice that when I'm using them I get fatigued. Okay. Oh come on, you little SOB of a battery connector. Because naturally you want to just rip it out by the cable. That was actually more difficult than it should have been. Okay, how does this dome... that's how the dome comes off. Snooze that. Well, there's no way I can really replace that. I'm just going to check the resistances. .83. Well, there's definitely a big difference between the left and right, but that doesn't mean anything. You can't really tell exactly until you take these things out of the pots themselves, until you take them out of the assembly, because obviously while they're in circuit, the resistance values you're reading are going to be influenced by whatever circuitry is working on them. I mean, the soldering is complete crap, but something just fell off. Button. They just snap in, the yellow snaps in. Oh yeah, I see, yep. Still can't get it out though. You'd still have to desolder the whole unit and then remove it. probably going to be easy for me to just get another controller. Hey, Jim Allen. Now, if I could work out where the wiper is, but it's just unusual for the fact that I can understand a little bit of drift, but this is quite a bit, and it doesn't seem to be correctable, and it's not in the software because I can use the other controller and it's good. Some typical craptastic, what do you call it, soldering there all around. Hey, what's that switch for? I don't know what that switch is for there. S1. There's a blank space where the other one goes, in theory. Oh, I know, there's a little pinhole through to that one, so okay, that's just some sort of reset. I can just spray it down with contact cleaner and see what happens. That's the trouble, Edward, is that I have not had these for long, like barely 3 months, and they do not get vigorous work. Just trying to look at the... well, let's just try a brute force. You can just snap it from the port and pull it back a little. I suppose, I mean, it's like, what's the worst that can happen other than everything? And it's got a 3-ring contact riper, so that's very unusual. Well, it's trucked now. Yeah, screw warranty, it's not worth it. They'll probably send it to me and say, oh, we've got this guy who needs this fixed for warranty. And I'll be like, yeah, it was me. The trouble is, when you clean out contact clean like that, you kind of want to also put contact lubricant back in there, pot lubricant. But that I do not have. White part can be removed, it's part of the wiper. Yeah. Oh well. What I am more interested in right now, since I've cleaned that, and probably not going to work anymore, is this spring. Okay. Okay, it's not actually too strong against that. But when you're activating or trying to activate, it's exceptionally difficult. So I think it's more the pressure imposed by this here. Yeah, so like that one's very easy to depress. This one, that you definitely feel it's just low pressure. This one's a lot harder. That's annoying. Wish they were a bit more like radio controllers where you can change the tension on them. Pot lube, just dielectric grease. Usually, yeah. Oh man, I've got a cough now. Damn it. Yes, I am aware that micro is still pending to be done. And I've got to somehow magically get this reinstalled without bending any freaking pins. Everybody knows that's impossible. Yep, impossible. Hey Indy, you can get USB to RC receiver converters to use. Oh yes, I actually have seen those, yeah. Alright, so that's free spinning, which means it's trucked. I'm almost certain I've botched this up. I've got a feeling that I now have some splayed pins. Don't exactly make it easier to ascertain. Oh no, pins are all good. My bad. They do not make it easier for you to determine if you've got things right. In fact, yep, no. Yeah, nah, mate. Ah, man. Yes, I know. Fortunately, with cats, you can. They're very tolerant of the insulin system. So, not that I at all recommend it, but if you are, even an hour late or something like that on the injection, it's not so much of a problem compared to, say, unfortunately, with dogs, where it's you do have to be substantially more pedantic about this sort of stuff. Well, you are a major pain in the backside. So the problem I have is I don't know if it actually is the pot or not, or whether it's, say, maybe the sensor amp or the divider. Yeah, there's so many possibles of what it could be. Oh dear. Hey, yeah, I've got micros, yep. I was a leader coming in to say, you are failing in your task of being a suitable father to your fur child. And I'm like, I'm sorry, my love. I agree. I will iron my hands. Alright. I mean, obviously she's absolutely correct. What? It's the left-hand side. Yes. Galvani, simply, I have the best kids possible, which is, of course, cats. Why you make no sense? Okay, that is the way it should be up. Clearly I am failing in my abilities here. Aha. It's a little bit slippery with these gloves, funnily enough. They've got some kind of greasy substance on them now. Yep, guess that's good. I don't have the patience for the kids. Damn right I don't. Little money-sucking, noisy, smelly things. I think it's marvellous that some people manage to have them, or many people manage to have them, but me, yeah, I think I'll get pre-grown ones. Yeah, you can just sort of get out of the shop and get a couple of pre-grown ones. Though I think society frowns on that. I believe they call it child abduction or something. No, seriously, I wouldn't do that, but adoption and things like that is probably the route that we will be taking. Although they don't make it easy in this country. In fact, it's just downright near impossible. The fatiguing I am giving these vibration controllers is probably going to break those cables. Ach nee man! How do they build these things, 100 a day or something like that? Or probably 1,000 a day. It's getting annoying. They deem you too old. Now, fortunately, while they may deem me as being slightly too old, although I'm not 50 yet, Elita has the advantage here. She's quite a bit younger than me. So we can exploit that. Yeah, that's seriously... Oops. Yeah, that realignment crunch, that's always fun. So what we'll do is we'll check that MacBook, and then that's it. And I will test this out. I can guarantee you nothing's going to change. It's still going to be crap. It does turn on at least, so that's good. It's a start. It turned back on. Don't damage everything. Okay. Hey, that's what we want to see. Apple logo. Alright, Jason, you might have got... Yeah, you really got lucky there. Very, very, very lucky, good sir. Yep, that's... and it's coming up with the login of the person who's on the sticker, so... we got to win. Okay, I'm out of here. Going to sort out micro and then going to go test that controller. You all have a good night, and I'll see you all next time, whenever that may be. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.